Never ready, light it up. Let it breathe, let it show. Art is never really ready if you never let it go. Christian Navarrete to bring new stars in view. The names you don't know yet,
but soon enough you will. It's the Never Ready Podcast.
Sorry, I'm late. You don't know how hard it was to find a shirt without buttons. Okay. Welcome, everybody. My name is Christian Navarrete. This is the Never Ready Podcast. Today, I am very happy to announce that we have with us author, publisher, TikToker, and practitioner of dark arts. Welcome, everyone, Matt Lawrence.
Thank you so much.
Matt, how you doing, man?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Of course. A pleasure. Pleasure to have you. Yeah. I'm glad you could come down today to hang out with us today and talk a little about who you are.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks.
You know, I've known you for many years now. I wish I had done the count. I really do. But I've known you for a long time, and I've known you since high school. Mm-hmm. You went to school with my wife. Yeah. And we were in the same grade. Remember, we probably 99. Mm-hmm. And I remember seeing you just with our friends, how we kind of interacted every once in a while. And you were this amazing guy, tall dude. Back in the day, you had the trench coat. You had the eyeliner. You had a very punk rock look to you. It was very, don't touch me, don't get near me kind of a thing, is what I thought, right? Because it's like a misunderstanding. The moment, I remember the first time I spoke with you, sorry, and I didn't mean to cut you off. You're the most down-to-earth dude. You've got a gentle soul. Like it's, I wish that we didn't have these misjudgings in our heads, right?
But I don't think it's necessarily a misjudging. I think you're actually very spot on. That the exterior was an armor to keep out, I don't know, people who could possibly, people I wouldn't want to be too vulnerable with. And then as soon as you're willing to peek past that armor, it's like, oh, there's actually a real, and that is the thing, there is a really soft person under there. And so maybe that's why that armor was necessary, you know? And so I don't think you were wrong for that. I don't think that was necessarily a wrong first judgment, but I'm glad you followed it through and saw beyond that.
Oh, yeah.
Because I do think that is the thing with a lot of things in our reality that, they can first present as monsters, as something dangerous that we need to avoid. But when we kind of step into it, it's like, oh, wait a minute, there's something else there. So and that's been my whole thing.
Has it been your whole thing?
My whole thing.
That's what I want to talk to you about. So I like to interview people that I know are working really hard toward their life goal, right? And I've always wondered about that for you. You have got a crazy path.
Yeah.
I mean, I know from the humble beginnings, I mean, you were a guy who worked a lot with your hands. I know you've mixed paint. I know that you've made cabinets. Yeah. And you even cleaned carpets for a while.
Yeah, that's right. Carpets and windows. And,
Just a lot of labor intensive things with your body, right? Yeah. And that hasn't stopped because I also know, I mean, like I said, you act and you publish. So you've been doing a lot of different things. I want to kind of get to know you, and I know you have, is it a nom de plume? Is it another persona? Is it you?
It's a little bit of both. Well, so my nom de plume, the name I write under, is E.A. Koetting. Okay. And where I got that name from, I was given up for adoption, and that was my birth name was Eric Koetting. Okay. And so when I started writing, I took that name back and kind of claimed that. And so even though my legal name is still Matthew Lawrence and whatever, and that's what it was made at adoption, my birth name was Eric Koetting, and so I've just kind of turned back to that as I started. When I started writing books, I was like, all right, so at the time, Matthew Lawrence was a celebrity that everybody knew his name because he was on the shows and all of that.
That's right.
The Tool Time and whatever else, the different shows he was on.
Right.
And then the movie with cats and the dogs getting, running away from trouble. And so So it was like I didn't want to come out as and write under that name. It'd just be too confusing. And I was like, let me find what's some mysterious like occult sounding name that I could start writing my books under. And so instead of making something up though, I just went into my past, went to my beginnings, and because of that. That's how my birth mother found me. Was that I started using the name that she had named me at birth for my books, and so as my books took off, and didn't really take off, but as it got even some traction, she was looking for me every few years. She would kind of just do a sweep across all social media and just see if she could find her son. Interesting. And then she came across the name. She's like, it's too real. Sure enough, I'm in Utah, which is where she had given me up at, and I fit the description and everything. And then she sends me some pictures of her of her pregnant with me, and it looks like me with a wig on, me with curly hair. I just have to, if I did put my hair down and curled it, it is the picture of my birth mother. So I never like met her in person or like crossed that bridge. We talked on the phone a couple times,
still
sent emails. It kind of faded out. It was like, oh, I'm glad to have met you and whatever, but it never really went anywhere.
Right. So, I can see where it can be kind of a strange thing happening so many years later where it kind of fizzles out. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there, honestly. But man, well, I've known you for a while, and I know that as you're saying, you went back, almost like saying going back to the well to pull out something from your past. There's a lot in your well. You have a deep, deep well, and not everything's bad. Not everything's great, but I like that. So I love that you're able to pull from that. Now, I guess moving a little bit forward, correct me if I'm wrong. So I did a little research on you. Because you've had books for a while. Yeah. I have a 2009 book, The Spider and the Green Butterfly. Oh yeah. Vodoun, Crossroads of Power. Am I saying Vodoun? Vodoun, Crossroads of Power. Which is
that's the root that we get the modern understanding of voodoo from is Vodoun, and it comes from Haiti. So it came from Haiti over to New Orleans and then set up what we now know as voodoo. But of course, it didn't start in Haiti. It started in Africa, where it was called Vodou, and so it's just like this slight name variation that changes as it moved. But yeah.
And you followed I guess some of that history, looking into that when you wrote some of this.
Yeah, a little bit of the history, but more just the practices. So I had this. I have this guy that lived in Haiti. He's I don't know what initiation rank or something, but he's a highly initiated voodoo priest. Wow. And he hit me up and he says, well, first he buys a couple of my books. He emails me. He gets my email address somehow. He says, I want to buy a couple of your books, but I want you to sign them for me. I was like, oh yeah, absolutely, no problem, cool. Felt, it always feels good. I've sold thousands of books now, and it always feels good when somebody asks for signatures. I'm like, hell yeah. So sign it and mail it off to him. And he does that with a couple books, and then after a few of them, he emails me and he says, "Well, I've kind of been investigating you. You're a rising star, and I want to do a book with you about voodoo." He goes, "I've got a ton of knowledge, and I need to." I think he kind of felt like maybe his life was he's getting old, and his life is coming to an end. Okay. Not necessarily soon, but but he's kind of seeing his mortality, and so he's like, he wants to pass on the knowledge that he has. Okay. And he's like, I've taught some people here and there, but he goes, I want you to help me teach. Just throw the information out there to anybody that wants it. I was like, oh, dude, let's do this, because voodoo is kind of a closed system. Like if you're not initiated into it and you're not there for the secret rituals and stuff, you don't really get to know what's going on. Okay. He helped me crack that wide open of as far as like, here are the specific gods or the loa that you work with, the spirits that you work with. Here are the ceremonies that you do, and so that was a really fun book to write. But that one's probably gotten me the most criticism. Really? Yeah, because it is. I'm a white guy from Utah that's kind of getting into somebody else's system, being like, here's how they do it in Haiti, and it's like, who are you to speak for us? And it's like, well. First off, I did get the information from somebody that really does know what he's talking about. So that's one thing. I'm not just telling you what my thoughts are. This is actually, what was taught to him and whatever. Yeah. But second, it's like, I think information needs to be shared. Like whenever I've learned something, my first thing is I want to go tell somebody. Like no matter what it is that I've learned, if it's how to do something or check out this cool piece of art or anything, if I have something hit me that really inspires or moves me, my first impulse is I want to share it.
Right.
And so it was with Haitian Vodoun, where it was a beautiful system that I was like, ooh, this is so cool, I want to share it.
But they almost feel like it's like either like religious or racial inappropriation.
Yeah.
Kind of a...
Yeah, that was one of the big things that was put out there. But you know, it's
But you have such a passion for the material, and you want it to pass on to other people.
In a lot of ways, it even kind of goes a little bit beyond just that I'm intruding on somebody's culture, but I'm also, by making this information available, I'm taking away a revenue stream from people of initiations. And so, because usually before this book came out, you'd have to fly down to Haiti, who knows how much that costs, and then it's a couple $1,000s for initiation rituals. You got to go spend at least 3 days out in the middle of the jungle and hope nobody does anything, you know, untoward while you're out there.
Finding the right person
right.
to do all this
Oh,
with.
yeah, and hope you make it back home alive. Like that, that's all ridiculous, and it's all unnecessary. It's all unnecessary because my whole thing with spirituality is that it is something that you engage with and it engages back. If you pray, you get answered. If you put yourself into the system, it does work. The spirits are ready to reach out to you. You don't need a middleman.
Okay.
So.
Hey guys, this is Christian Navarrete from the Navarrete Podcast. I wanted to take a quick moment today to tell you about my family's restaurant, Ernesto's Mexican Restaurant. That's right, located here at 929 West Sunset Boulevard, Suite 18 at the Phoenix Plaza in Little St. George. We've been serving the St. George community for over 30 years with some of the freshest ingredients my mother, Sylvia, personally selects herself to make sure that the food is made with lots of love and tons of care. Yep, we've been here for quite a long time. But if you're really, really lucky, you'll be served by my amazing cousin, Angie. Angie, let them know what days are we open?
So we're open Monday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8:30 p.m.
Hi there.
Hi.
How are you today?
Good, we're doing good.
Good. What do you think about Ernesto's Mexican Restaurant?
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Been coming here forever.
Really?
The food is wonderful.
Oh, that's so good to
One
hear.
of a kind.
What are you having?
I'm having the shredded beef 2 enchiladas, best in town, honestly.
You guys like it too?
Yeah, that's why I bring them
Woohoo!
here, huh?
Thank you guys. As you can see, Eloise is hard at work making sure your food comes out to perfection. So if you're in the area and craving some amazing Mexican food, come try us out. We'd love to see you. What is E.A. Koetting? Like, who is he?
Well, you asked me earlier if it was my nom de plume or a persona.
Yeah.
And it started as my nom de plume.
Right.
But it became a persona, and it became a very powerful persona. And powerful because the core of E.A. Koetting is a teacher and a seeker, both at the same time, a teacher seeker. And so with that spirit, I'm able to put a lot of things to the side if I just step into this. I'm going to give you a really crazy example where this really hit me. Okay. I was learning how to do rappelling and rock climbing. And I'm terrified of heights. Naturally, I'm terrified of heights. I don't like falling. I don't like even coming close to it. Always.
Big aversion.
Yeah, but I always wanted to challenge it. So I got some lessons. I had a guy out there teaching me how to do it. And he goes, all right. And I get to the edge just at Dixie Rock where I'm coming. This is a scary, scary spot because you're coming down and there's traffic underneath you and whatever. But I get locked up and my hands wouldn't let go of the rope enough to let me slide down, and I was shaking. Oh. And my guide says, hey, pretend I'm holding a camera and you're talking to your audience. I was like, what? He goes, tell your audience how to do what you're doing right now. And I'm like, oh, well, it's actually really simple. You just da-da-da, and I start rappelling them. Before you know it, I'm all the way down. And I'm like, oh, you son of a gun. You tricked me. But it really hit me hard that I had created this persona that can put aside fear, can put aside rejection, any of the emotions that might keep Matthew from being able to do the thing. Uh-huh. And I unconsciously created a trigger for it of stepping in front of the camera and saying, hi, it's E.A. Koetting. boom, that I can even feel it in my body as I say the words now,
Good.
that I sink into a different aspect of myself. And it's one that has been built, I think unconsciously was built just by me doing my thing, but over the last few years I've kind of started to understand that, because let me even go further with this, I did have a crisis for sure of having a long moment of not being able to tell the difference between me and the persona.
Oh, okay.
And feeling I had to regain my relationship with Matthew again.
Okay.
And that was a critical moment of seeing that as well, of this, like the EA thing. It is a persona in that it's not my real identity. It's a character I play,
right.
but it's a powerful enough character that that I turn into it when I play it.
Okay.
Like Ozzy stepping on stage, or what's his name? Just all these musicians that have these like alter egos. Alice Cooper,
right.
Have these alter egos, and they step on stage and it overcomes them. I've absolutely felt that within myself. But it is necessary to step out of it and to just like chill with friends and relax and not always be on, because there is that feeling of always being on when you're in that character.
So it's like your own personal Tyler Durden, but hopefully without those side effects where he tries to murder you. Right. Unless that's an identity crisis we're not sure about yet.
No, we'll see. But like Jim Carrey did his movie Jim and Andy, where he talks about becoming Andy Kaufman.
Yeah, from the Man Over on the Moon movie.
Yeah. And he really gets into the identity crisis that he experiences of jumping into these characters, and then when you come out of it, you feel like you're still playing a character, and it's like, yeah, that sucks. You gotta just try to step away from playing characters. Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah, so
especially if that character has a lot of you in it, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get lost in it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
See that. Do you have do a nice balance of things? I mean, how often do you spend kind of thinking in that EA mentality? I would say maybe per week.
Oh man. Well, to be honest, at this point, I would say it's only when I'm doing something public as EA.
Nice.
So if I'm actually talking to the audience, then that's that. But when I'm, I'll wake up and I do yoga and meditation first thing in the morning. I've got a really cool spiritual routine that just guides me through the day. It's beautiful. But that doesn't feel like that's in E.A. Koetting's domain.
Oh, good.
That's not something that I'm doing for the character. I'm doing that for myself, and that's a fun thing. I hadn't thought about it until you asked me the question. So thank you.
No, that's good. I was just curious because of the identity thing, it makes me think maybe it stemmed from being there too much. Mm-hmm. You've learned since then, hey, you've got to separate your time as this and as that.
There's a tightness that I needed to create with that character. Like one of the aspects of it that I told you is that he doesn't feel the same kind of fear or embarrassment or same things that I'll feel. Okay. And so it is a tighter, more mechanical version of myself. And so if the danger that I saw is stepping into that as a protection from whatever I'm feeling in the world, is I'll just stay E.A. Koetting so I don't have to deal with it. That doesn't work. But I'll tell you what, it is a really interesting thing, because I don't know. I mean, maybe if somebody's doing like a long series of like a show that I don't know, some show that goes on forever, Seinfeld or whatever, that goes on forever, I can imagine that they might have a similar experience, but most of the time, most people who step into a role get to put it down pretty quickly and get on with themselves. So it is interesting to have this role that's alongside me. But even when I sit down to write my books that I write, as E.A. Koetting, I don't feel like that's necessarily a task that I have to step into that role. I can just sit down and mellow as myself.
I'm sure that you've got fans all over the world. Yeah. It's not even the country. It's like all over the world. And you live in a place where I don't believe a lot of people know at least your face. They don't recognize your face as the face behind this person or this character, right? Yeah. So it gives you a little bit of that separation where you don't have to worry. You can go anywhere and no one's gonna.
For
the most part,
locally for sure, and right now for the most part, because my fame blew up and then it's kind of blew down a little bit, and that's good. And
that's good.
Yeah, for sure. Well, because I went to Lake Tahoe on a family vacation, and I'm just.
When was this?
This was like 2015 or 16.
Okay.
And and I'm just in like flip flops and swim shorts and whatever, and I go into a gas station to go get some smokes, and this dude's all E.A. Koetting. Oh my God, it's E.A. Koetting. I'm like, oh, well, you know, what's your name? And you know, just tell me about yourself. And I sat and talked to him, and not at all a disturbance for me, but not the best face I would like to put on. You know, it's like
at the time,
yeah.
like being in flip flops and whatnot.
And even with that, it's like and I've had that happen a few times where I was like especially in bigger cities. In Vegas, every now and again, I get people pick me out of a crowd, be like, "Oh my gosh, E.A. Koetting."
That's cool.
And it is really cool. It's humbling every time. I never ever have felt like, "Oh, get away from me." It's always like, "Oh, give me a hug. Who are you? Tell me about yourself." But it's a crazy shock, because for me, I do live out in kind of the middle of nowhere, where I only come into town for fun stuff like this, and so I get to kind of have this isolation where I'm up there just writing my books and doing my stuff, and it can be real easy to wonder if anybody's listening. You know, to even though I'll see the numbers on the screen, it doesn't feel like real people sometimes until somebody comes up to you in person, like, "I watched you the other day." And it's like, "Oh, that is so cool."
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's nice to be recognized.
it is.
And especially in a positive way. It's good that they're not like, "You're that guy," you know.
You son of a gun.
Yeah. That was nice. I don't know, have you had more experiences with people coming up to you in a positive light, or have you had any experiences, like personally, people coming up to you negatively?
Well, as E.A. Koetting, no.
Okay.
As myself, I'll go. I've had many people that I've pissed off in the world that have come up to me. "Oh, you son of a gun!"
Really?
Oh yeah.
And they recognized you
like
and saw you somewhere?
messing around with the wrong women that are in relationships and that kind of thing.
Oh, that's slightly different, but I get that.
Yeah. No, so I've from my own recklessness, I've definitely attracted the wrong attention. But within the E.A. Koetting framework, no, everybody who's come up to me in person has always been, no, that's not true. Almost everybody's been great. I did have one guy that found out that somebody was going to be coming over to my house last year, and was like, started texting him and was like, "Hey, it'd be really cool if we all hang out together." And then he, once he was here, as soon as he's in my kitchen, he's got a backpack full of alcohol that he starts pouring himself drinks. And I'm like, whoa. And he's chugging and getting, and then starts getting really quickly a bit belligerent and bit like accusatory. And turns out that he had submitted a manuscript several years ago, and we didn't reply to him. And so he had this chip on his shoulder the whole time, and finally found the opening to come and just give me what for. And so like, I was going to kick him out of the house that night. I actually did. I was like, "You got to get out of my house." And my daughter Alex was like, "Don't, he's drunk. You can't let him drive drunk." And I was like, "Yeah, okay. You can sleep upstairs and then you're gone in the morning." But yeah, that's the only time. But I had people in different like waves. There'll be like a wave where all of a sudden people will get this surge of like, I don't know what for or whatever, but they'll get this animosity that all of a sudden I'll have like a small group of people that are calling me names and spreading rumors and whatever. And back in like 2014 or 15, there was an event in Pahrump that was a magical event, a magical gathering from people of all traditions. Come and we'll dance together. And it was a lot of fun. We did dance together. We had a hot tub party together. We did all kinds of fun stuff.
Wait, who are these people? I'm sorry.
So it was this dude that runs this order called the Golden Dawn, the Order of the Golden Dawn, and so he ran it with his wife out of Pahrump, and so they had a lot there, and they had some of their students, and so it's a lot of people,
practitioners as well.
Practitioners of different paths that are, most of them are more of the light path, and they're wearing white robes and blessed be and everything. Where I'm kind of more of the darker, mysterious variety. Yeah. Right. So. But I had people that were like, "Oh, he's coming to this thing and we should go get him." And there was this talk about this. And I was like, "Whoa, guys." And I had a couple people that were like, "You shouldn't go. You shouldn't put yourself in harm's way." And so I put out an announcement, though. I said, "If you come, I'm going to have a cooler with some drinks in it and a chair that I'd like you to sit in and pop a drink, and I'd like to talk about whatever it is that you are upset about. Let's talk about it. Like, right. I'm not interested in fighting anybody, or I'm not. that was fun in middle school. That seemed like that was a good thing to do in middle school.
God,
but
no.
we're adults. Like, let's talk about it. And nobody showed up.
Yeah.
And similarly, I've contacted people who have been online having a lot of negativity to talk about me, and I've contacted them and said, hey, if you want to have a debate, we can actually talk openly about this. Hardly ever do they do that, and when they do, we always see that we don't have anything to be upset about. Like, most of the time, we're all talking about the same thing. Most people agree on very similar things. We're not so far different,
right?
But there is, especially online, there's a thing that I think people see an easy route to attention by being
negativity
being a smack talker.
Mm-hmm.
So
trolling.
Yeah.
Trolling.
And the trolls are different, because I'll do a bit of trolling. Trolling can be fun because they're just trying to have fun with the narrative.
Right.
So I see trolling like a form of culture hijacking. You're taking something that is culturally there, and you're just getting in there and making a mess of it. It's like moshing at a country concert. Like,
right.
You're not supposed to. You're gonna piss off everybody, but it's fun to go mosh at a country concert.
I get that. I like the idea that you've offered to talk to people who have had negative things to say to you. I think any other person would probably think to themselves, oh, you just care that they like you, or you want to be, you want to be liked, or something's on your mind. I mean, you telling me this, I'll be honest, it feels more like, let's put an end to misinformation. Let's put an end to, why are we doing this? Why are you upset? There's no reason for it. Yeah. And I like that, because any other person, I think, or many other people would just be like, oh, I don't care what they think about me. They can feel that way. Who cares? Blah, blah, blah. Forget them. And that doesn't do anything, except it's just words, and it doesn't solve a thing. Mm-hmm. But I like the idea of you going, hey, I heard you feel this way. Why? And, and going from there. Who does that?
Yeah, right. Well, after I started getting a bit of popularity on, I had a YouTube channel that was blowing up, and our Facebook was going crazy, and books were selling off the shelves. Mm-hmm. And I did have a very strong desire to make people like me.
Okay.
And I would go into the comments, and of every video I would do, after it was posted, I'd let it cook for a minute and then go in the comments and start scrolling through. And I would scroll right past all the people that are like, oh, this is awesome, yeah, you're doing a great job. I don't care about those people. I'm looking for the people who hate me. And it was like, I started noticing it consciously. I'm like, I'm looking for the bad. Of course I'm going to find the bad. Yeah. But then when I'd see that, I'd want to argue with them, be like, oh, but it wasn't that I wanted to show them the truth that I had discovered. Is that I wanted them to like me.
Okay.
And I had to become conscious of that and reframe that. That did become, I don't care if they like me, I want to sell them a product. Right. And that did become like a model that helped me out for a bit. But for something like this, by writing books about spirituality, I think it's hard to maintain that as just like a business. And right. So with that, it kind of quickly became from there, not caring if you buy my stuff, not caring if you like me. I wanted, I think this phase has passed as well. I wanted you to do three specific things: to stop, to look, and to react. And so the stop is whatever you're doing. When you see my content, when you see my book, when you see me out on the streets, I want you to stop. I want you to look, I want you to pay attention, and I want you to react, whether that's like, preferably to buy my book or to engage with my content somehow more. But even if that's that you left a nasty comment, I made you do something. I put you into my funnel. I made you do the exact thing. I had three specific things, and I made you do all of them. Right. I gotcha. and with that worked really well for building the algorithm, for building the channels and all of that, and getting the growth that I was looking for at that point.
That's cool.
Yeah, but I do feel like that's come that I'll have to think more about what exactly I would frame it as now. If it's gone from wanting people to like me to wanting them to buy my stuff to those three things, I think at this point it's more just wanting to be open and clear. Mm-hmm. I think
like
that's
that.
yeah, because I all along the way I do have knowledge and experiences, and I've got a mind that I can soak up all kinds of information specifically about the topics of spirituality,
Right.
And so I've got things to bring to the surface that I think just being open and clear is probably the best way to do that now.
Yeah, communicative. So I guess the big question then, like the real big one, what led you to write about spirituality? Like, what took you there?
All right, so growing up, we'd read the Bible or the Book of Mormon every night. We had a Mormon family. We'd gather around, and it was like seven kids that I got adopted into this family, and we'd read scriptures together. And that did start instilling in my mind spiritual things right away. You know, where even the way I was forming thoughts and sentences were kind of taken from a biblical view. Yeah, and so I had a bit of reading ability from that before going into school. So then I got into school and I was like, oh, you guys don't say thee and thou? What's going on? But I just had a knack for words. Numbers, not at all. Never have I been good with numbers, but words were just something I could do. And I wrote a poem in 5th grade. You remember the reflections competition?
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
I entered a poem into the reflections competition, and I got an honorable mention. And it was the first award I had ever gotten in my life for something that I did. And I was like, dude, I got something here. I got something here.
That's awesome.
And you know, I later found out honorable mention is like not, you know, whatever. Yeah, it was something. It was something. And it did what it needed. Yeah, it did what it needed to do for me. And before even just exploring that a little bit, I started getting a lot of encouragement from people around me. Just, oh, you'd be a great writer. You really ought to do it. Even my parents, who normally just crapped on everything that I liked, they were actually both really supportive of it.
That's
and
cool.
I do think that's an interesting thing, because like almost everybody I know who says that they're not good artists or I can't draw, when you talk to them, they're like, oh, I used to, but then my brother said it was stupid. Or then they get some bad judgment that makes them, and I got enough, I think, of the social support for it that I was like, you know what, yeah. So it was probably around 12 or 13 that I started trying to write my first book.
Okay.
It was a detective novel. This guy wakes up in a hospital from a coma, and the first thing he sees is a beautiful nurse, and she says, "Happy Valentine's Day." And sure enough, it's Valentine's Day. And she goes, "What's your name?" And he looks over and there's a card that says Valentine's Day. She had said it. He's like, "Valentine, you can call me Valentine." Nice. And then the whole book from there is just him trying to figure out who he is and whatever. Later found out that this book's been written a million times.
Well, I mean, versions, I'm sure.
But I'm 12 or 13 just clacking away on the keys. Oh, yeah, this is so cool. Because my dad had got me a computer, and that really was a breakthrough for me with being able to write. Like actually just, sitting down and like hammering it out. So I started that. That fizzled off. I did one about Greek mythology. That was kind of cool. But they would each fizzle. And then the third one was a sci-fi one. And each time it was like, I could feel there was something I was being called to something. When I was 17, I got the book by Constantinos called Summoning Spirits, The Art of Magical Evocation. Okay. And so it's a whole book about how to call spirits up. And I had read a bunch of different old manuals from the early 1800s from these old magicians that were like, "Thou must place the incense before the spirit." And I'm like, oh, it doesn't make any sense. Constantinos, he was a technical writer. It was technical writing. Okay. And so he knew how to write like field manuals and manuals for instruction manuals.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And so he took that approach with writing this book. And I was like, oh, dude, that's it. Like making something that is really complicated simple. Making it something that step by step a person can practice.
Like a layman term, like very... Okay.
Yeah, and he did a couple books that were similar, but that was the standout that for me, I was like, oh, I can see it. But then I read a book called The Dark Arts by Richard Cavendish. And it's terrible. it's because so I was like, okay, cool, like we got this, but nobody writes about any of the darker stuff. Nobody writes about the left-hand path or curses or demons.
Right.
And then I found this book, The Dark Arts, and I was like, oh, or the Black Arts. And I was like, all right, cool, this is it. But he writes about it from a Catholic's perspective.
Oh.
And so all of it is, evil and and all of it. And I was like, well, wait, no, you got it. But there was nothing that was written from an inside perspective of like, hey, I'm working with the dark arts, I'm working with demons, and here's what my experience is. And I was like, not a thing. And so that was actually my stimulus, was reading that book and going, no, like absolutely anything would be better than this.
Okay, wow.
And that would that
must help people,
right? And that was necessary for me, was to look at it and go, like. With same thing with I looked on YouTube over a decade ago, and nobody was talking about witchcraft or magic. Absolutely nobody was filming themselves doing a ritual. And I was like, well, that sucks. Nobody's doing it. Well, let me just try it out. And so I started just doing that, talking openly about, hey, like I tried this spell and here's the candle and da-da-da-da. And it was crazy the amount of people that were looking for that.
Yeah.
And just wanted, and then performing ritual too. Just get into the ritual and go as crazy as I want to go with it, and then report my notes to the camera. And it seemed, I was certain it was going to fail. Just like nobody's interested in seeing that.
Right.
But no, it blew up.
Yeah.
And that actually unlocked for me. There's a much smaller market of people willing to sit down and read a book.
Okay.
And then there are willing to watch a video.
Oh, a smaller market to read a book than to watch. It's like easier to watch. Yeah. Definitely, the medium of-
And I hadn't thought of it, but that is an awesome way of conveying some ideas and some truths and some practices. Right. And right now I'm on TikTok, and that's okay. It's all right. The attention span's a little difficult. Like
I almost wrote a book about this podcast, so I'm glad I went this route.
Exactly.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But that seed was planted after reading that horrible book from the Catholic perspective.
That's right.
But then I still sat with it, and I was making notes in my journals of what I might like to do, and different spirits that were cool, and different spells that I had learned, and I wasn't sure quite how to bring it together, but I was starting to get an idea. But then my daughter was conceived.
Okay.
And that my whole life was just reckless, and then as soon as I found out that I was going to have a kid, it was like, oh, okay, cool. I got to start getting overtime at work. I've got to I've got to clean up this, and just started like putting myself together.
Yeah.
And along with that, like all of the changes happening inside of me as being a father, I had this feeling like my biological purpose is going down the natural pathway.
Right.
I've reproduced, I'm going to raise this child, and then I'm going to die.
She will replace you on this earth.
Yeah.
Right.
And so with that, it really hit me of like, oh, like if I ever want to write a book, I've got to start writing it, because I'm going to die. Like that hadn't occurred to me, I don't think, for some reason until I had my daughter.
Right. And
so that's when, like, as my ex was pregnant with her and everything, we're in just this little crappy apartment trying to figure out how to get by, and I'm spending all my free time writing my first book. So my first book was Kingdoms of Flame.
Kingdoms of Flame.
Yeah, so this is a book about multiple different kingdoms on the astral plane, like the spirit world, that you can use these different symbols to tap into the power of the kingdom, the different spirits there. And I kind of do this little walkthrough of what I imagine those kingdoms would look like, and then the rituals that you could do. And so it was a really slim, just like I said, some of those random notes that I'd taken that I kind of wove into this storyline to put together into my first book. And and it was kind of just like with that, to get the momentum going with that, of like, I've got to do something with it. Boom. Give it to a publisher, and it starts selling crazy. I first do 500 copies of it. And I was like, that's a lot. She goes, yeah, we'll print out 500 copies, and we'll probably sit on that for a few years. And I was like, okay, cool. we printed out those 500 and it was sold like instantly. And she was like, I've never seen this happen. The publisher was. I'm like, oh, cool. Let's do it again. Keep on doubling down.
Printing. Yeah.
And so with that, I was like, okay, well, now what do I actually want to say? And so then I started really thinking about what are the books that I want to write. So I wrote Works of Darkness after that. That was like an all-around manual on your first meditation to different meditations, different ways you can call spirits, rituals that you can do with candles, and then kind of. I've done a similar thing in all of my books of starting with the most simple and then walking you until it's like usually at the end of it, it's a crazy level. You're getting possessed by demons and whatever else. Yeah. But it starts out, I try to start out as simple as can and walk them towards that through each chapter. So,
all right.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Obviously, with what you're talking about, things can get really crazy. Spells, I'm sure, can kind of get out of hand. And I guess you're just writing a really easier manual for people to read. Some of the books I'm seeing, it says this is a grimoire. What is a grimoire? Am I saying that right?
Grimoire.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, I like that much better. It sounds like French.
Yeah, it is. It's like a memoir. So a memoir of spirits, a grimoire. And so with that, a grimoire is it is going to be a book that has specific spells, rituals, specific spirits and their symbols and their information. And so a grimoire is more of like a practical, like a field manual for all the things that you need to make the ritual happen. It's not so much going to be an instructional book, and because I kind of do. A lot of things get called grimoires that are not necessarily grimoires. It can be a cool name to call something if you want to, like, oh, this is a new grimoire. Right. But specifically a grimoire just really contains the bare essentials that you need, kind of like my first book did. And then instruction manuals will more have like the fleshed out material, which is really what I prefer.
So you do have a preference?
Yeah.
You like to get into the weeds?
I like to get into the how-to, because all of it, every last bit of it, isn't the power of any of it is not in the words that you're speaking or the marks that you make on the floor or on paper. Those are all just props for yourself. The whole thing is happening internal.
Like the drama that you're performing.
You're putting on a theater for yourself to get you into the state you want to be in. But then a lot of what I'll do in the writing is actually guiding people in how to get into those states, how to let go of what they need to let go of, and lock their attention on the thing that they need to lock it onto, etc. So
focus.
Yeah.
What they need to focus on. So a lot of these books I'm seeing Timothy Donahue. Yeah. Is he a co-writer, co-author, partner? Like what?
Yeah. So all right. So I was about 8 books into it. I had written and published 8 books just through different publishers here and there. And I get hit up by this guy, Timothy Donahue, and he says, hey, would you like to do an interview with this guy, Robert Bruce? Robert Bruce is an Australian fellow that does, he's passed away now, but he would do astral projection and a lot of psychic self-defense. And so he'd have people coming to him that were being, felt like people were putting curses on them, or that they were in a haunted house, and he'd be able to give them all kinds of things that they could do to defend themselves. And he was definitely more of a worker in the light realm and whatever. But I did an interview with him. It went really well. Had a really good rapport. He's an older fella, and I was pretty young at that point, so I didn't expect to have such a good rapport, but we did. We just got along famously. And Timothy was running a website for him and doing a whole program with Robert, and so he, after the interview was over, he's like, hey, you got a lot of camera presence. You're able to do this really well. You want to do some documentaries? This is how he first put it. And I'm like, oh yeah, sure. I'm like, yeah, send your camera crew over. We'll do this. So he mails me his camcorder. And he's like, just start filming, buddy.
Okay.
And I was like,
documentary.
What do I do? And he's like, just talk about anything, about magic, about spirituality, meditations. Just talk. Just start going. And I was like, dude, I don't know what to do with this. And so I did. I just started
trial and error.
Just started going. Yeah. And so we started a business, Become a Living God. and that's the name of our business, our publishing company. But we had a lot of conversations about what we were going to call this before we did it. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I remember I was driving to my friend's house, pulling into his driveway, and I get this call from Timothy, and he's all, I got the name. And I was like, all right, let's hear it. He's all, Become a Living God. I was like, no, it's too much. It's too in your face. And he's like, no. He goes, but is there anything about it that's not true? And I was like, well, what do you mean? He goes, well, everything that you're doing, all of the rituals, all of the spells, all of the prayers, it's all a matter of reaching into your own divinity, discovering that you are the creator of your reality and how to create that the best that you can. And that's not denying that there is any other God or that there's a force above you. I definitely believe that we have a creator. That's just my personal belief. Sure. And so that doesn't put me above him. I want to become like that. I want to be able to become as much, and I know we're imperfect and it's an imperfect process, and so I don't know that I ever will. I don't know that I'll ever actually reach the goal of becoming a living God, but I love it. I love the goal of it.
So and so the interesting question then is, what does becoming a living God look like to you, where you yourself admit, I may not be able to reach this pinnacle? What does it look like?
Constant, never-ending improvement on yourself. And so looking at how do you want to evolve yourself? And that's what I do it through spiritual paths, but through any path of looking at like what, and that is why I do it through spiritual paths, is that it does give you a framework that you can start to use to help yourself evolve. Okay. If you want to become more peaceful and loving and whatever, there are spiritual practices for that. If you want to become hateful and monstrous, you can do that too. Yeah. It's all available depending on what you want to engage in. But it is about self-evolution. And so the idea of Become a Living God is just whatever you can conceive of the next level for you to reach up to be better. If that means more powerful, I think the quest for power is a silly quest, and it's a fun one when you're talking about magic and witchcraft. And you want to try to have power and control, right? But it's a silly quest. It is because in order to do it, when you're gazing into the candle, in order to finally cast the spell, you have to let go of your desire. And so that is the nature of all of it, is letting go. Just let go. So don't even, if you want, audience, don't even bother with the candle. You can just set the candle aside and just figure out what you need to let go of. Let go of it.
Don't think of it too hard, or else you're going to push them away. And it feels like...
Don't let go too hard.
Well, I mean, I said, like, don't let go too... I don't even care anymore.
You gotta have a good balance.
Right? You just be like, I don't even hope anyone watches this or does, or, you know. Yeah, no, I get that. So I wanted to mention a couple things. So I know for a while there you were on YouTube, but currently I see you're on TikTok. What is your TikTok channel? Is it just EA Koetting?
Yeah. Just TikTok /@EA Koetting. There are a couple imposters.
Are there?
Yeah. They'll hit you up in your messages. I will never message you. I don't have time for that.
Yeah, you're a busy dude.
Yeah, but they'll message you and say, hey, I've done a free reading on you, and I see this and this and this, and then if you'd like more, send me some money through this.
Oh,
yeah.
my God.
And it's like, no, you can get a reading from me at my website. All of my stuff's available at my website.
Like, I will ask money, but I won't seek you out to give it to you.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll find you.
Yeah, I make you come to me. TikTok is a lot more, I have a lot more of a fun experience on TikTok than I did on YouTube.
Okay.
YouTube, I felt like there was a lot of toxicity in the chats, that there was a lot of hateful, sometimes violent things that were going on in the chat while I'm trying to give a spiritual message. I'm like, oh, now meditate and let go. And they're like, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, on TikTok, I don't have that so much. Every now and again, and that doesn't mean people don't come in and oppose me, but I like that. I like people to come in and go, and even when people come in and say, oh, Jesus loves you. Oh, thank you for that. I love hearing that. Don't tell me I'm going to hell. I don't like that one. But the Jesus loves you one, dude, I love that.
You do promote a lot of positivity out there.
Yeah.
The other thing, so TikTok and then Odyssey. So I'm seeing you have Odyssey. You do. I saw live on Odyssey, but do you just also have videos that you've recorded and kind of keep?
Yeah. If I do a fun ritual that I want to share with anybody, I'll record it and put it up on my Odyssey. I got to be careful on. I can't put up like videos of rituals on TikTok because they'll use fire, whether it's like I'll light a lot of stuff on fire, or even if it's just a candle. For some reason, that makes TikTok nervous, and so they'll flag my videos if I have even a candle burning.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. If I have a ritual dagger or anything like that, that's a weapon in my hand. And so with TikTok, I just do my live chats, and then we can cut that up and whatever and use that for shorts. But on my Odyssey, it's a complete free speech platform. They don't care at all what I say.
Really?
At all. It's kind of I kind of get the feeling of like when Howard Stern moved over to Sirius XM and came off of the regular airwaves,
right,
that he was free to say whatever he wanted to, but he didn't really go that crazy.
Yeah.
It's like he'd drop an F-bomb a little more frequently and whatever, but everyone was kind of like, oh, what's he gonna do now? And it's like, yeah, the same thing. In fact, if anything, he got more and more tame just as he got older.
As he got older, yeah.
And I feel like I've done the same thing as I've gotten older. But because I've gone onto this free speech platform where I don't have to worry about anything I say.
Yeah.
But it is good, positive messages most of the time. I'm E.A. Koetting, and you're about to learn secrets that most people will never know about godlike power. Through Become a Living God, I've spent the last 2 decades teaching practical sorcery, spirit contact, and the transformation of the self through direct experience. Magic is already inside you. All you have to do is let it out. Let your intuition guide you to the path that's right for you. Become a living God.
You've invited me many times to join your lives.
Yeah.
I've joined one a while back. I've taken a while not to, and not for any particular reason. I was happy to join your live. I should have been yesterday, but I saw it today. It's been a long day. I loved it. You were talking about cargo cults. Okay. Now, I want to talk about that, but first, before we talk about the cargo cults, I do want to say that for being in the business of, a practitioner of dark arts, right? Every single thing I heard, and this was like an hour and 40-minute video, everything on there, you promoted so much positivity. When people came in, because I could hear you mentioning comments that people were saying, and a lot of them were actually very loving and positive and amazing. And every once in a while, I could sort of see you mention like an odd one, a really negative thing. And I love that in some of those you kind of expressed a little bit of humor because you kept it light. And you made it quick to some things were kind of like felt like, these aren't my views. Like this thing is something, somebody says this, not my view, but it's interesting that you think that. You surround people with this positivity. There was mention of, that you visit mental health specialists. Not a lot of people are quick to jump on that. Even today, I mean, it's more and more normal, but not everyone does that. You promoted it. You're talking about how like a lot of the rituals are also, about their safety. You're not just throwing, you're not promoting, kill this, murder that, nothing like that. So I love that. It's a good positive message for anyone that has a fear of, what am I going to hear in this?
Right.
It's only positivity. While, you're talking about magic and stuff.
Well, and somebody even came onto that particular chat and was asking about curses. And they're like, oh, maybe, I just got this anger in me that I want to curse,
Yeah, I noticed that.
And I said, well, that tells you that you need to do some shadow work of realizing what's driving that anger inside of you instead of lashing out at other people. And so with that, it's like, maybe there's room for curses, but maybe there's also room for some introspection.
Yeah.
Now with that though, that does, and I'll even say that maybe there's room for a curse. Maybe somebody's wrong. Maybe somebody did something so terrible that you got to get your baby back at him. I'm not here to judge that.
Right.
But let's go. Even being able to have the openness of doing that and going, let's consider maybe a curse is necessary. That allows everybody to go, okay, maybe it is, but let's at least check out the other things. And so I feel like having that openness is so important. When I was looking at trying to find information on all of this back in like the late 90s and early 2000s, I came across that book by the Catholic dude. But most of the other things that I came across were really negative. It was hate groups that were doing Satanist stuff inside of this hate for other human beings. And And I just like that's not it. That's not power, and that's nothing that I want to do and to get engaged with.
Right.
And so part of what my work has been, and Timothy is my partner. You mentioned him before. He's the partner that I've started Become a Living God with. Part of our mission is to shine light on all of these practices, so you can see what they actually are and what they're not, and kind of demystify it a bit, because it's not. There's definitely, especially when you start getting into Satanism, there's definitely a lot of hate that gets mixed into that and whatever. But that's not the totality of everybody who's on the left-hand path or practices black magic. Right. But what it is consciously exploring that shadow because when the guy came in the chat, I wasn't like, just go, forget about it and whatever. It was like, no, you've got to go
disregard it at all. You were like touching on it.
Yeah.
And you told him. So sorry. You told him a lot about shadow work.
Shadow work, yeah. And
you mentioned it a few times. I wanted to be. What does that mean?
Yeah. So a lot of what we're working with on the dark path is going to be shadow work. When it's looking at the dark aspects of your life and yourself, the things that you normally wouldn't want to look at. So, on a personal level, shadow work is a process of acknowledging what traumas you have, what kinds of things are locking you up and making your life difficult, and how you can resolve those. And that resolution almost always is confronting the thing that happened, actually admitting it, saying it out loud to a therapist or to a friend or somebody like that, that there's
confronting it, yeah.
There is therapy does provide a really great outlet and process for processing these things, and so seek it out if you need it for sure. And even going into therapy is a bit of a shadow work, that you're digging inside of yourself and going, what don't I like in here? What, and especially what feels heavy and dark, and then not trying to get it out of you, because that's actually that's a fear impulse to I don't want to ever feel angry. No, that's not real.
Right.
You're gonna feel angry, but acknowledging, where does that anger come from? And for me, my anger, that's a huge trigger for me, is I'll see that my anger will go spike out of nowhere, that all of a sudden I'm blowing up, and I'm like, oh, okay, so what's that? It's not about whatever just barely happened. That it's being triggered from something, and that's where the shadow work comes in, to dig in. Why is it that anger comes out? Oh, it's because of this and this in your childhood and whatever. Yeah. So that's shadow work on a personal level, but it also goes into a more social and global level of looking like what's going on in the world, what's wrong with the world, like and not excusing it and not looking away from it, going, there's some pretty horrible things in this world, but being able to see that does make you more capable of being a force for good in it. And
instead of ignoring it, I like that you promote like looking at it and kind of, in a sense, trying to figure it out, or trying to figure something about yourself and how to make things better.
Yeah. And that is a big part of why. That's a big part of the draw towards things like demons and dark magic and stuff like that. It is that there is a space that needs that is there. That's part of our reality, and it does need to be looked at. Maybe not everybody needs to dive as intensely into it as I do, but it is there. But also, you can't be in the trap of that's not all that's there. There's also light. There's also love. There's also gods and angels and spirits and a lot of beneficial things that are here to help us. And so, the I guess title or whatever of being a black magician or a dark arts practitioner, I work pretty equally with both light and dark, and if anything, I lean more towards the light than the dark. But you summon one demon, and people will always think you're a demon.
You do it one time.
Yeah, you worship Satan every now and again, and they're like, you're a Satanist. It's like, well, I just make room for it all.
Oh, my God. I love that. Well, what would you like to promote today? What would you like to talk about as we finish up?
Thank you. This is great. So back in 2017, I took on this project of writing about the 9 most powerful demons. And I was like, I'm going to write the 9 demonic gatekeepers. And I was like, I'm going to write about each of them I'm going to write about them, study them, do rituals for them, summon them, get as close to these as I can within 90 days for each of them. And then write everything down and then move to the next one for 90 days. And then move to the next one for 90 days.
Each of these 9 you're going to dedicate 90 days to.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so it was like a 3.5-year project.
Wow.
and it resulted in 9 really amazing books, but it was my own shadow work. It was my own going into all of the darkness and everything and bringing that up. After I completed the Gatekeeper books, I've written a few books since, just kind of writing about things that people wanted, but that I wasn't really feeling pulled to. And last year, just kind of, I started having, I had all the lights in the hallway light up to show me what I needed to do. So I've got my next 13 books planned out. I've written rune magic that goes into my Viking ancestry and how the Vikings would have worked their magic, and I tried to keep it as real to the way they would have done it, but still usable for a modern person. Okay. And so it is, you working with the runes, going into nature, contacting the spirits of nature. It's a beautiful book, but it is pulling intentionally more towards a lighter, more less dark, less heavy, less shadow work, and just more about the light and beauty of the world. Okay. And then into the book I'm writing now, Elemental Sorcery. That's again about the elements and earth. So fire, water, earth, air, and spirit are the 5 elements that ancient alchemists identified as far back as like ancient Greece. They were like, these are the 5 elements that bind everything together. Okay. And so I'm writing a book about those 5 elements and how to incorporate them. And with this, my message is going away from power and towards harmony. Okay. Because if you're seeking power, again, that's a fear thing, and you're afraid you're not going to get what you want, so you've got to try to grab your power. Really, it's if you can drop that and come into harmony with the things that you desire, that's when you can have real manifestation. So this book is focusing on that. The next couple are going to be about angels, because I've actually never written about angels.
Oh, okay. That's exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting. I'm a little worried about how my audience is going to take it. It might not sell. I might not get good sales on it, because they'll be like, "Well, angels, it's all about demons, man." But what I'm going to try to do with these books on angels is show them not as figures of religion, but as cosmic structures of energy. Okay. That they are personifications of energy structures that are in our reality. Yeah. I've obviously still got to think about it and flesh it out a bit.
Well, regardless, it's going to be a fresh perspective. Yeah. A whole new thing to look forward to.
Oh, for sure. Okay. For sure. Both for me, to put my mind into that it's going to be really fun and fresh, but also for my perspective, having worked so much with demons and all of this stuff, to give my perspective on the value of angels and how to work with angels. It's a view that nobody's had before. So
so it is something new. That'll be awesome.
And but just a couple books on angels. I'm not going to linger there too long, because then I'm going to start talking about giants.
Oh my God!
Everywhere,
like Nephilim or giants?
Yeah, Nephilim, okay. But it's also the same types of giants reported across the world. The Navajo talking about the red-headed 6-fingered giants that were here, eating people. They were giants that were just eating people.
Oh God! All right.
And there's something to these myths, and so how to align with the giants, learn from the giants, and maybe even become a little bit of a giant yourself. And then
it'll open you up to becoming a living giant.
Yeah, there you go. Awesome. Become a living giant. And then after that, dragons have been really hitting me as well. And so that's another thing I'm looking at, is like, what are the things, this is where my mind's always been at, what are the things that every culture talks about? And there's something there. And so dragons is a huge part of it, because the dragons are the hypercosmic and even chaotic energies. And so looking at the dragons from around the world, how each culture would work with them or think about them, and then how to integrate that yourself, and how to become a little bit of a dragon.
How to become a living dragon.
But that's always the nature of all of my work, though, is it's because it's not just about something you're doing, it's about something you're becoming through the doing. So, but yeah, so I've got like 13 books that are kind of along that line of really exploring some cool themes.
I guess I would say then, when can we expect the first book of these future books?
Glamour Magic. The Glamour Magic spellbook is really going to be the first of these. So Glamour Magic is when you watch the craft and they turn their hair colors and they change their eye color. That's what kind of glamour magic is at its most basic, is making yourself, using spells to make yourself look prettier.
Okay.
But that's just that's just the entry. Because what it's really about is using your spirituality to show who you really are to the world, to take down the masks and to let the light shine on specific aspects of yourself. Okay. And so I go into this with how to do simple things to make yourself look like your eyes are more blue to other people, or to make them feel more comfortable in your presence, and these kinds of things.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, and then I go even further into South American and Norse methods of shapeshifting. And how to turn into a wolf. Okay. But it's not necessarily as like you say the magic words and you become a wolf, right? But it's putting yourself into the mind frame of a wolf and then uniting with a wolf that's actually out there running somewhere. It's a really cool experience. And then how to become invisible completely. That's my final chapter. That's my final chapter, is how to disappear completely.
That sounds like a Machiavellian over here. It's like, and for my final trick, where'd he go?
It's all gone.
I love that.
So
you have a clear path.
Yeah. Right? And so with that book is, and that'll be out this winter. Probably around Christmas time, I think. Okay. Maybe October, maybe Halloween, but
you're working on
winter.
These, right?
Yeah,
you're hard at work.
This one's done. Okay. But with that, I am about 2 or 3 books ahead of my publisher.
Wow.
And I'm writing at a faster pace than he's publishing, so that's just going to keep growing. I told him that. We had a meeting about it where I was like, "Look, like we got to step it up because I'll pace in the end. We got to get these books out." But that is a cool feeling. That is really cool to
be ahead of it.
Yeah, to write something. It was a really cool moment when I realized that I'd set up enough of a structure with my business that I wasn't thinking about the thing I'm doing right now is going to make me money. Like, if I don't do this task, I'm going to miss $80 or whatever. Like, thinking like that really sucks, especially when you're trying to be creative. Yeah. And so just being able to like be creative. The money comes in from all the millions of things that we sell, and I don't care what it comes from, because right now I'm just caring about writing this one book. And then when it's written, it might be a year before anybody sees it. I don't care. Right. I'm just going to write the next book. So, that's
all you can. You're just going to jump on that. You got to keep that traction going.
Yeah.
The website is Become a Living God.
Yeah, becomealiving.com. Yeah.
People can find, I'm guessing, your books there. Products? Do you sell products there?
Yeah. So on my website you'll be able to find links to my the couple social media that I'm on, the Odyssey and TikTok.
That'd be great, yeah.
And so they can just go right to Become a Living God there and click on those links. But also I've got a ton of free articles on there where I'll go through and just kind of look at what are the topics people are talking about that they want to know about, crystal ball gazing or candle magic or whatever. So I'll write an article about that. And so there's free articles all over the website. And then books, video courses. You can book a consultation with me. You can. This is my favorite. One of my favorites is you can hire me to perform any ritual you want. And I'll film it. Yeah. So people will write in. They'll be like, "Oh, I want a love spell on this guy, and he hates me." And I'm like, "That's a bad idea." I'll counsel people about their rituals. But in the end, I want to perform a ritual that's going to be helpful to them. And like love spells aren't helpful. They seem good, but they're not. But yeah, then I'll perform the whole ritual. I'll fire up my whole temple, throw myself fully into it, and record the whole thing. And then as soon as it's done, process the footage, send it out to them. I try to get it out before the end of the day, so it's done, and they got it. And then they watch it when they're from hearing from them. My plan is working because it's doing exactly what I wanted to do. That while they're watching it, they feel like they're there with me, doing the ritual with me. Okay. And because with it, I'm not just doing it for them. I'll look at the camera and go, now I want you to visualize what's it going to feel like when you have this money in your hands, and you're going to feel that relief. And I want you to feel that relief now. And so because that's a huge part of magic. It is the like I said earlier, the internal shifts that you're making. Yeah. And so I try to guide them through that as they're watching the video, so they can have have that shift as well. So, yeah. And you can also spend time with me here in Southern Utah, 3 days through a boot camp. This is my absolute favorite, where I'll get people from all over the world. I get people from Asia. I get people from Australia, Russia. I had a guy from Russia. That was awesome. That'll come here and we'll go to sacred sites out here. We'll spend time inside my temple, inside my home, and just whatever they want to learn,
And this is from reaching out to you at the website?
At the website, okay. Become a Living God, yeah. Perfect. Become a Living God /bootcamps.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
Dude, it's always a pleasure. Honestly, we have so much to talk about. We haven't even scratched the surface. So, but we're going to end it for right now, right there. Again, we have with us today Matt Lawrence, dark arts practitioner, author, publisher, TikToker. Check out his channel at EA Koetting on TikTok, on Odyssey, and becomealiving.god.com.
Yes.
I'm Christian Navarrete. This has been the Never Ready Podcast. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I hope you have a great day. We'll see you later.
Thank you.
Never ready, light it up. Let it breathe, let it show. Art is never really ready if you never let it go. Christian Navarrete to bring new stars in view. The names you don't know yet.
But soon enough you will. It's the Never Ready Podcast.